Good morning, folks. We're on the next section of our video. I've loaded up where we left off at the last one. All right, at this stage we kind of finished sketching and extruding all the panels that we want, and we just have to make a couple of cuts and divots and holes and the kind of stuff, right? Just finishing up the last few touches. So let's get cracking then. All right, this time around we're not going to create any new components because we are not creating any more panels, but rather we're just going to sketch on our existing panels that we have. So the first sketch we're going to do is on this wall, and then we're going to repeat it on the other wall as well. Now you notice this is a square hole there, and that's not going to let the cover flip, right? So we need like a round section there, so let's that little notch there turn within the hole so your cover can open and close. So we're going to select this wall as the plane that we're going to do the sketch on. So we're going to select that wall itself, and that's come right up. So just navigating to make that right in the center. Now I need to draw a circle around this, but I need the center of that. So I'm going to hit line, and I'm going to go from that corner to this corner, and then escape to release that. Another line again, that to that. And the intersection of these two diagonals gives me the center of that square. Now, so eventually we're going to be cutting this on the laser cutter, and I don't want the laser cutter to actually cut those lines. So I'm going to change those lines to construction lines. So construction lines are lines that you need to be able to draw a sketch or a feature, but you don't want the CAD/CAM system to actually pick it up and actually do that process. So I'm going to click on that line followed by construction, right? Click on construction. There we go. We're going to click on the next one and do construction again. All right, that's given me the center of that square, and now we're going to go to center diameter circle, click the center, right? I'm going to zoom in so you can see that, right? See that you get to a triangle, so click on that, and the diameter is going to be 4.4. That allows the square to rotate within that. Okay, next step, let's do a finished sketch. All right. We're going to do a press pull at the moment, but if you press pull at this point in time, it's going to cut it up, right? So let me go and just orbit that just a tad to show you what's happening. Let's unzoom that and orbit, and oops, that's not what I want. Yeah, okay, there we go. All right, that's the orientation that I'm looking for. You can see the circle that we have done, and we're going to cut into this, right? Now, if you just do a press pull at this point in time and you're going to cut the circle out, it's also going to cut out that little square, but I want to keep that square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the cover, right? See the eyesight for the cover? Let's turn that off, right? So the cover's gone and you just have that circle. So now we're going to do a press pull, and you can now select the entire circle. At the moment it's going to come out, but I don't want it to go out. I actually want it to go in. So we're going to type in a negative sign and with the thickness. And you notice that Fusion's already changed the operation to cut. If it did not, you're going to change it to cut. Yes, so you're going to cut in by 3 mm, then okay. You notice that the hole's been cut. If I were to bring the cover back on again, there you go, and it comes back with that little square tab there that lets that cover notch onto the wall, and it'll rotate within that circle. All right, we're going to repeat the process on the other side as well. Let's click on home so we get back to this correct orientation. Let's orbit and turn that around onto this side. Going to hit escape key, release that, sketch again. All right, selected that face. Let's do a pan, escape again. Going to zoom in, same process, line. We're going to click on there to that diagonal, Well, you could actually do one line and find the center, but I just prefer this just so that I am a little bit clearer that the intersection is where the center is. Again, construction line, click on the next one, construction line, escape to release all the tools that we have, circle, clicking on the center, and diameter is 4.4, enter. All right, at this point in time, again, we just need to orbit that a little bit, unzoom, just so I can see where it is going to. All right, that looks good. All right, I can see that. Okay, so let's again turn off the cover, right? Just making sure I'm not going to cut into that. Let's do a press spool. Where's my press spool? Oh, so I gotta finish the sketch first, that's why. Press spool and click on that. And again, this is going to be negative thickness. All right, perfect. Fusion's automatically detected that you're going to cut into it. So if it didn't say cut, you just pull down that menu and make sure you select cut. All right, then click on OK, and then we're going to turn the cover back on again. Okay, there we are. So orbiting, right? Both sides are done. All right, let's go back to home. Okay, we're now going to do a quick captive nut join on this panel here. This is the front panel. So it's going to be a sketch, and you're going to sketch directly onto that cover. All right. Okay, zooming in. Okay, now I'm going to turn off the wall just so that I can see my lines. Yes, it's a little bit easier because with the wall on, you can't. It's more difficult to sketch. So I'm going to turn that off just to make it easier. We're going to do a captive nut joint. We've done this a couple of times before, so we're going to do a 2-point rectangle. Again, slide down, find the center, and there you go. Right, Fusion gives you like exactly where the center is. And we're going to, let's cut towards the upper side, 3.1, tab 8, enter. Zoom in a bit more. We're going to now create rectangle, center rectangle. I'm going a little bit faster now because we have done this before. Oops, I clicked it, so I don't want to do that. Create rectangle, center rectangle. Again, find the center, but don't click it. Slide down, and it's holding that line for you. Okay, and then that's going to be 5.5, tab 2.5, enter. And we're going to dimension from there to this bottom edge, and that should be a 4.5. Okay, done with one of that. Let's do the next one. Again, same thing. Oh, sketch a 2-point rectangle. Slide there to get the center, and that's going to be 3.1, tab 8. Create rectangle, center rectangle. So obviously these are captive nut joints that we're doing, and they are designed to be used with M3 10mm bolt. Right. Obviously, if you're using a different size bolt, you would want to amend that to what's required on your end, but that's what I'm using. And dimensioning that, and that's going to be 4.5, enter. Okay. Well, we've done both. Finish the sketch, and we will need to do a press spool. So we're going to do a press spool. So you're going to select all of that things that we just drew, and sometimes it just takes a few clicks. So I'm selecting it first, and then I'm going to press the home button. Okay, so the arrow is coming out, and I obviously need to cut in, so the distance is going to now be negative thickness. And notice Fusion's changed that automatically to cut operation. That's excellent. So we're going to cut that. All right, there we go, and that's been cut through. Let's turn on the wall back on again. and you see the wall come in, and we obviously need to make the hole for that. So let's create a sketch again, and we're going to sketch on this particular wall. Okay, you notice that we're not able to see those outlines, and let's hit P for projection. Oh, and you can't still see it. So let's click on the wall, all right, and you can now see that. Let's click the top line and the bottom line. All right, click OK. We should be able to see it through the wall now. Let's check that. Yes, there we go, right? So we can now see those lines through the wall. Let's create, we need a circle, but we're gonna need a 2-point circle. Slide along, find the center, click it. Slide along here, find the center, and click it. All right, circle's done. So we're gonna do a finish sketch. Next, do a press pull, click on that circle, and we're gonna do a distance of, well, I'm not sure which way to go, so let's hit the home button. Okay, so that's going to be negative thickness. All right, and cut operation, click OK, and I'm just going to orbit this to show you that that's lined up perfectly now. Can you see that? Right, that hole is now lined up perfectly to that captive nut feature that we've done on the back wall. Repeat the process on this wall again. So I'm going to create a sketch and right onto that panel. So once again, we can't see that line, so there's going to be a projection. Can't see it as well, so let's click off the wall, and there you go. So you can see that that's where the captive nut is. Click on those two. Okay, so projected those two lines. Let's turn the wall back on so we can see it. Yep, there you go. So that's now clear. Oops, I am not doing this right. Okay, there we are. Create circle. We're going to do a 2-point circle. Slide along the edge, click it. Slide along that edge and click that as well. And finish your sketch. We're going to do a press pull again. Look, if I press the home button, it's going to give me the wrong orientation because it's going to turn it the other way around. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an orbit just to be able to see which way that arrow is going to go. So now when I hit press pull, right, I'm going to select that. Okay, it's coming out, so we got to go negative thickness. Right. Good, that's a cut operation, and click OK. And again, that orbit function should show us that it's lined up perfectly. There you are. See that? That hole's lined up perfectly. Gonna hit home. All right, there's one more cut we have to make because we have to install a switch. Sorry, 2 more cuts. We've got to install a switch at the top here. And we also got to make one more cut for that captive nut at the bottom edge, right? So we're going to do the 2 cuts. All right, you guessed it, we're going to sketch right onto that panel, right, which is the top panel. And now the switches I'm using are the toggle switches, and I'm just going to create a circle, and we'll place it anywhere around here, and we will just dimension that in a bit. All right, you need a diameter of 5.9. That's what we need for the switches that I use. If you're using a different switch, then you're going to be doing that a little bit differently. Next, we got to dimension this to that. Ooh, can I get this? Okay, that works. So that's going to be 4. Oops, type 4. All right, that's good. I'm going to just move that out here so that that's a little bit clearer. All right, so that's 4, and we got to dimension this how far back we want it from there as well. So click on that, and with the wall, and that's going to be 12. Enter. Okay, so that's been done. So we're going to finish a sketch. Once again, you guessed it, we've got to cut that through. So there's going to be a press pull. Let's click on that. And again, I can't see which way it's going to go. So let's hit the home button. It's on the upper side. So again, we've got to go negative thickness just so it cuts down. There you go. Operation is going to be cut. And okay, now if it's not cut, obviously pull down the arrow and select the cut operation. Okay, there we go. That's been done. And we just have one last one to go, which I missed, is at the bottom. So we're going to do a sketch on this surface. And if you remember, on the motor mount, we created a captive nut joint, but we don't have the corresponding hole on this end, so we've got to fix that up. All right, so we're going to create a hole there, but obviously we can't see what's on there, so you're going to hit a projection. We still can't see it, so let's turn off the base, and we can now see that's where the captive nut is, right? So this is the motor mount, right? And that's where the captive nut is. So we're going to go project that line and this line. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to do a circle, circle, 2-point circle. Let's slide down. All right, center, slide down on this side, find the center. All right, and that's beautifully centered. So we're going to do a finish sketch. Again, I got to do a press spool, but again, I'm not going to know which way it's going to go, but I don't want to use a home icon, because then it'll put me right at the view that I don't want. So I'm just going to rotate it just a tad, just to see all the features that I have. So you notice that that's exactly where the captive nut is. So let's do a press spool, and I'm going to select that circle. The arrow's coming out, that's not what I want, so I wanted to cut, so there's going to be negative thickness. Okay, and that's going to cut in. Done. Did I get that right? Oh, that doesn't look right. So this is the last feature that I did. Let's go in and edit that feature. All right, so what I just negative thickness, that's correct, but it said new body, so let's make that a cut. So I forgot to check that that's a cut. All right, it's complaining there's no target body because I've turned off the base. So I've turned off the base. All right, so we're going to do this a little bit differently then. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to do a delete. And see that sketch there? I'm going to delete that sketch as well. Or maybe I should edit that sketch. All right, but it's obviously in the other orientation, so I'm just going to rotate it all the way around so I can see that. Let's click on this so I can see what I'm looking at. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to delete that. All right, so I can see the projection. Let's turn on the base first. All right, base is turned on. I can still see the projection. So create circle, 2-point circle. All right, it's coming down here. Now that happened because when I was sketching it, the base was turned off. So I technically didn't sketch the circle on the base. I had sketched it where the captive nut, where the opening for the captive nut joint on the motor mount was, right? So I backtracked a little bit just to be able to sketch that onto the base. And now I can do a finish sketch. This time around, what I have sketched should be on the base. Ooh, what happened there? Edit sketch. Okay, there it is. Finish sketch. Okay, that has disappeared again. So let's see. All right, let's hit the home button, and let's turn off the top and the wall. Can I see my sketch? No, I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, so if I do a press spool, That's a bit surprising. I should have seen it by now. So let's just orbit that around. How about we turn off the motor mount as well? Okay, that did not quite work. All right, let's go back to our sketch. Well, it's right there. I can see that there. What if I turn off the base? All right, let's select it this way and see how it goes, yeah? So I'm going to do a press pull. Oh, I can't select it anymore. All right. So I'm not sure what's gone wrong there. So I'm going to back up and delete that sketch. So just delete that sketch. Let's turn the base, top, wall, and all back on again. And let's repeat that process. So follow that through with me again. So we're going to create a sketch. And we're going to sketch on that bottom surface. Yes? So let's orbit that. And we're going to select that bottom surface. All right. And Fusion's put that in a nice manner. Well, obviously, I can't see the things there, so I'm going to do a projection. Can't see that as well, so we're going to turn off the base. And we're going to click on these two lines first. All right, projection's done. Okay. Let's turn the base back on. Okay, you can see that. Circle, we should be sketching on the base. Yes, that's exactly what I did earlier, but that didn't quite happen. So I'm going to create a circle, 2-point circle, sliding down, click on that, click on that. All right, we got our circle. So let's finish the sketch. All right, and it's working now. Press pull, we're going to click on the circle, but before we do a press pull, I'm just going to rotate it just a tad to know which way it is going to be, yes, so that I know what's going to happen. So let's click on the orbit, and there we go. All right, we're going to turn off the wall just so we can see how that lines up. Okay, let's orbit that a little bit more, and there you go. Right, so you can see that that's lined up with the captive nut joint. So let's change that to negative thickness. And you remember previously I sketched that on with the wall turned off, sorry, with the base turned off, and Fusion was complaining that there's nothing to cut. This time around it's happy, right? It knows that it's going to cut through the base, and there we go. All right, and the base is done. That's good. Okay, now so we've done all our cuts, but you notice all these finger joints that are there, right? They're actually not there. They're just showing up, but it's not there. So if you move the panel off, over here you'll see revert position. So we're going to click on revert position, right, to put them all back into place. All right, I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to take you onto another video where I will show you how to do the combine function. All right, save your work, and see you in a bit.